I access films through Netflix.
I access films through Sky Movies or Netflix.
I access films through Sky Movies, Netflix or going to the cinema.
Well, I access films through the internet or DVDs. Sometimes I go old school with VCRs, but usually I have friends or family who give me films to watch, and yeah.
I access films from my TV. I access films from the cinema.
I access films in my life either by going to the cinema or watching movies on my laptop.
I access films on illegal websites like 123 Movies and Cartoon HD.
The challenges for modern filmmakers are probably just competition.
I think the challenges for modern day filmmakers is like competition and getting enough money earned as possible.
The challenges for modern filmmakers would be competition and making the most money.
To be fair, challenges right now have to be budget, knowing where to film, probably like the plot of the film. So I know, yeah. So.
I think the challenges are sticking to budget when making a movie.
No, I think the challenges for modern filmmakers are to make a story that's actually never been heard before.
I think the challenges are for modern filmmakers is the competition, as there's so many high budget films that are doing so well, so they have to keep beating that to get higher box office sellings.
I think the challenges are not conforming to the general stereotypes.
My favourite type of genre is action or comedy.
My favourite type of genre is horror or thriller.
My favourite type of genre would either be horror or a romance. It can go either way.
Hands down, favourite genre of any film of all time is comedy, because I love the backstories and they're funny. They make me laugh a lot and I think they're cool, so yeah.
My favourite type of genre when watching a movie is probably comedy.
My favourite type of genre when watching a movie is horror.
Favourite type of genre when watching a movie would definitely be horror.
My favourite type of genre is comic book genre.
I think the key is the element of surprise.
A key convention that I think you should include in a horror would be like dark lighting and like sound and like dramatic camera angles.
A key convention to include in the genre horror would be, I think, lighting and sound. So low lighting and a high-pitched sound.
Horror, definitely text, because it just depends on the way text is presented, because if it's not bold or like scary enough to draw the attention of the people watching the film, like the audience, it's not gonna work. So text is definitely one. Say like the sound as well. Sound is definitely another thing that people should focus on, because like say for a scary film it has to be something sinister, like the music has to be like say like uses of violins or cellos or orchestral music would accompany well the film. So yeah.
I think a key convention when making a horror film is probably the lighting.
I think a key convention when making a horror film is the music.
A key convention in genre horror, I would say, is definitely the opening sequence and how that's portrayed, like if it's going to start at the beginning of the film or the ending of the film. So like, it needs to have a good storyline.
General stereotypes.
I most expect to see like jumpy scenes and like gory blood and things like that.
The thing I most expect to see when watching the opening of a horror film is something that's going to draw me in and want me to carry on watching, so give me hints to what it may foreshadow in the future scenes.
A horror film, personally, death, because without horror film, death and horror films are like, you know, a married couple. Like, without, you can't have horror films without death, or even gore, like props, like blood, you know, cobwebs, gargoyles, or anything typical of a horror film should be in that genre or like that scene even. So.
When watching a horror film, I most expect to see gore and blood.
When watching a horror film, I most expect to see jump scares.
I expect to see ghosts.
What I most expect to see when watching a horror film would definitely be jump scares. That kind of like draws me in and wants me to carry on watching because it leaves me off the edge of my seat.
A good horror film for me is a horror film where it makes me jump.
A good horror film for me would be something that gets me on the edge of my seat and actually scares me.
A good horror film for me would be something that makes me feel on the edge of my seat and wants me to feel intense and carry on watching.
Personally, for me, the backstory is key to making a good horror film because without like the information, I have to know what's going on in that scene or revolving the story of the film, so I can be more intrigued as to what's going to happen next. So, yeah.
A good horror film for me will include a lot of jump scares and creepy music.
A good horror film for me would have a story that you can't predict.
What makes a good horror film for me is famous people, which brings in a certain star appeal.
What encourages me to continue watching the film is if it has a good storyline.
What encourages me to continue watching a film would be a good storyline and something that foreshadows the plot.
The thing that makes me want to carry on watching in an opening scene would be the characters and what the overall atmosphere is like. So if the characters look scary or they look like something's going to happen, it's going to make me want to watch.
I think personally, what encourages me to continue watching the film has to be characters, because like characters are really key to making a film work. So the plot also, if the plot is good, like say like the following say like 10 minutes of the film, you know, there has to be like at least like a climax point. So it gets more interesting. Say if there wasn't no climax within the first 10 minutes, it'd be a bit boring and I'd probably stop watching the film. But that's what I think personally is.
Good news. What encourages me to keep watching films in the opening sequence of the storyline is already a grasp on the story, as in like it should have a good storyline at the beginning straight away, so it makes me want to watch more of how the story actually ends.
Something that makes me continue to watch a horror film is having a really violent or creepy story.
Something that makes me continue watching a horror film would be the actors involved in it.
What makes a good horror film for me would definitely be a good backstory and based on true events.
Favourite horror film is Saw Alive.
My favourite horror film is The Ring because I feel like that could actually happen in real life and it actually scares me.
My favourite horror film would be probably Insidious.
Oh, personally, my favourite horror film would have to be Saw, because Saw is it's a real cool movie, you know.
My favourite horror film is probably The Woman in Black.
My favourite horror film is probably Cabin in the Woods.
My favourite horror film would definitely be Paranormal Activity.
My favourite horror film is The Woman in Black. Okay.
I think I prefer gory horrors to paranormal because it's more like realistic.
I do prefer paranormal horrors to gory horrors because I feel they're more jumpy and I don't particularly like gory stuff.
Well, I think paranormal, to me, it's funny. It's good to laugh at, so I can't really take it as serious as gory films, because With gory films, there's more action to them. Like there's more suspense involving the scenes. So like, say a creepy clown walking with a knife by somebody, you know, that's gonna build suspense and some people going missing even. That's, yeah, so.
I do prefer paranormal horrors over gory horrors because I think they're a lot more creepier.
I prefer gory horrors because I think they're more realistic than paranormal horrors.
I prefer paranormal horrors to gory horrors, as gory is more of a thriller genre, I would say, and it's not as scary. It's more like it's less jump scares, and it's more like I don't want to look at the screen. Whereas with horror, it's like more intriguing.
I prefer gory horrors.
The music definitely has a dramatic impact on me because it scares me like much more. Without the music, I don't think I'd be as scared.
The music has a massive impact on making the film more dramatic, because without sound it wouldn't be scary, but with the sound it makes you fully jump out of your seat.
The music has a dramatic impact because it makes you jump and feel alive in the movie.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I think music is key to making a horror film work, because without music, it's not really going to go anywhere where it's not going to go where it wants it to go. It's not going to be as interesting or intriguing, and it won't draw people in to watching it even more. So I think that's key to making it work.
I think the music does have a dramatic impact when watching a horror film, as it builds a lot of tension.
I think the music does have an impact because it will be the main thing that hints you that something's going to happen.
I think music does have a very huge impact when watching a horror film, as if there's a rise in like sound or something, it draws me in like closer, and because like it leads up to a jump scare, so it makes that jump scare even more big.
I think the music does have a dramatic impact because it makes you scared. Thanks.